All right. 3, 2, 1. Yo. What's going on, Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Thank you. Thanks for being here. Remember to like if you would do me the pleasure. I don't know. Let's try to get this thing to let's try to get it to 40 likes. Can we do that? Can we get to 40 likes? Share the content across social media. I hope notifications went out. I don't think they did. I've got 2 other devices in our house that are plugged into my channel. No notification went out. That so bothers me. Not as much as this game. Wow. I don't even know where to begin. Not completely disappointed. Just, I don't know. Like, you felt like most of this game, the Hogs don't give up. They didn't. They fought to the very end. They've played really well. Okay, we're gonna wait. I'm gonna give some people some time to get in here. A lot of people angry at Fountain. Special teams once again has cost Arkansas points, possibly the game. Special teams are garbage, and I'm not gonna put this one all on him though. Yeah, they made some key mistakes. They did. Special teams are bad. We knew that coming into this. I've got some other issues. What's crazy is the thing that I thought would cost Arkansas didn't. It's not what hurt them here. They actually did pretty well. And I'm talking about offense. I thought offense, how shaky they've been, right? All I feel is pain, says TTV. Like I said in Discord, I'm emotionally, I just feel completely drained. Like, that is one of those games, man. Like, you felt like Arkansas had, you had that 14-point lead. You had double-digit lead. You felt like you were in control. And then the game started going back and forth. And you knew all of a sudden, especially when Morgan went out, guys, I've been saying it all year long. If you lose Morgan or Bumper Pool, your defense will suffer the consequences, and that's exactly what happened. They do not have talent at that position behind Bumper Pool and Grant Morgan. They don't have it. They do not have it. So I'm going to give you guys another minute here before we get going. I do have some thoughts on KJ on the offense. Chat's going so quick I can't even keep up here. I think it's safe to say that KJ is our guy next year and Smith in the backfield, but if we don't have Morgan come back next year, defense will look how they did in the fourth quarter. He is a big piece, says Jay Sledge. Hudson Clark got to go, says Brandon. Jared Collins. Look on the bright side. Next week we got Bama. Is that a trap game? I mean, it is a trap game, but does that matter? Because you're playing Bama, right? So, yeah, do me a favor, guys. Again, we're at 13 likes. There's 13 likes, and we've got almost 60 people according to my screen. Let's get the likes up. Come on. Let's do it. Share the content. I don't know what's going on with the links. The links are still messed up. If you go and look at Facebook, Twitter, I think Twitter actually posted the link correctly where it actually shows you the whole what it is you're about to watch. But on Facebook, the links just don't. I don't know. It's weird. It's a blank spot that says basically like click here. 20 likes. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's get this thing going. Incredibly slow start. I was really panicking there. Well, not panicking, but thinking we're going to get killed. I think a lot of people felt that way. The way the first quarter started off, KJ looked a little off. They looked out of sync. Burks dropped an open pass, which I believe would have resulted in a first down. Very unlike Burks. That guy catches everything. I think he's got maybe that's his third drop on the year, maybe. He has a very high catch radius. Had a couple drops in this one. I don't know what the stat sheet says, but I think they have at least 2 drops on the game. Both of them had an effect. I'll start off first with the BS penalty on Joseph Fouché crossing his arms. How many games? How many times? How many different players have we seen do that pose either after a touchdown, after a big play? What in this game alone, you had a defensive end or a player on Mizzou's defense do something similar after sacking KJ Jefferson. There was no flag. There was no conversation between him and the official. There was nothing there. But they're going to call that, and that would have set them up for a 3rd and long. And at that point in time, Morgan's healthy. Defense is starting to get stops. They look fresh because the offense has established the run. That was huge. That was basically a momentum changer. Bullshit call. Bullshit. It's what that was. Pardon my language. Not really. You guys know what you're in for here. I couldn't believe that call. He crossed his arms. They do that after every play. And I hate that we have to talk about officiating as much as we do. Basketball, that's just, you do it, right? Like every game, you're going to talk about the officiating. But in the SEC, it's like baseball and football, the officiating is really bad. I've watched Big Ten football this year. I've watched a little bit of Pac. I've not seen a game yet where I'm like, good Lord, the officials are costing these guys. This one definitely is not on the officiating. I'm not going to say that. Yeah, they were calling some kind of ticky-tack calls. Yeah, there's some huge holds that they were not calling, and that can actually go both ways. I saw holds on Arkansas, too, that were not called. So I'm not putting this one completely on the officiating. You can't. This one was purely on Razorback defense. So going back to the first quarter, you start off slow. Defense, you give up 10 quick points. Defense just never could figure out how to stop Drinkowitz in that offense. It just kills me that they could not beat this nerd. Kills me that this Razorback football program has a 5-game losing streak. It just kills me. To Mizzou. You haven't beaten them since 2015. To Mizzou. That just tells you the shape of this program. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Last time they beat them, right? What was it, 28-3 or something? Like Arkansas clearly was the better team. There's been at least one other game since then that they were clearly better. I think with Catalan, I think with Morgan playing, I'm going to say I think Arkansas wins this game. I think that flag on Catalan, the targeting, whether you believe it was the right call or not, it cost Arkansas. I think it did. I think it cost them this game. Catalan not being able to play until the second half. Now, you can argue what difference did it really make because Arkansas's defense still couldn't stop them. But if you go back before Morgan got hurt, they were starting to get stops. They were starting to get into a groove on defense. KJ Jefferson opens things up in the second quarter. So if you go back, here we go. I think it was, 10 to, what was the score in the first quarter? I can't even remember. 10-3 or 10-0. It was 10-0. And then the second quarter, KJ opened things up. KJ gets off to this slow start and plays really well in the second quarter. It completely opened up the offense. And then the run game, Traylon Smith, you can't say enough. I'm not too thrilled about those 2 fumbles, one of which actually cost you a first down. Not too thrilled about that. And that's something you've got to be concerned about with these little scat backs, with these guys that are like 5'8", 5'9", $185, $190. These are the things you got to worry about. Scat backs are they're just more prone to, when a bigger, more physical body makes contact. And I think one of those, a helmet or the body of the defender, just happened to hit the ball at the right spot. But I don't think the other fumble that was the case. So that's something you got to be concerned about when you have these smaller backs carrying the ball. But overall, Traylon could not be stopped. He averaged, over 7 yards a carry for most of the game. He was so impressive. Treylon Burks, holy cow. I think that was his career high today. He had double-digit catches, 200-plus yards. But I can't speak highly enough on KJ. Today, I'd probably be, don't get me wrong, Treylon again had a hell of a game. Those 2 fumbles just irk me. They bother me. I do not like fumbles. And then you do it twice. I don't care if Arkansas recovers or not. You cannot do that. They did it twice. One of them were very costly. But KJ, to me, was kind of the X factor. We didn't know. Look, I've been asked what's going on with Felipe Franks. I don't know. This was not COVID. This had nothing to do with COVID because he traveled, he dressed out, he had the pads on. I have no idea what that was about. KJ did not expect to start. For KJ to be thrown into that role and to have the kind of game that he did, guys, he finished on the day 18 of 33, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns. He made no mistakes. He did have at least a pass that could have been picked. He had maybe, he had a throw in the dirt, then he had a couple of overthrows. Guys, he's not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, okay? Not even Felipe Franks is perfect. For KJ to come in like he did, and we still had people kind of skeptics in our Discord and on Twitter. It's like this kid has shown you what he's capable of today. Not only did he throw the ball for 274 yards, he ran for 32 on 13 carries. Keep in mind, a couple of those were him breaking out of the pocket and him getting tackled for a loss. Before I think the fourth quarter, I want to say he was averaging close to about 5 yards a carry, 5.5. You see now what a quarterback like KJ Jefferson can do in this offense. He is quarterback 2. He belongs at quarterback 2. I don't think he took Felipe Franks' spot. Now, we're going to have to wait to see what happens with Felipe Franks going into the Bama game. If he opts out, I don't know. That's a trendy thing to do right now to get ready for the NFL draft. But KJ is clearly quarterback 2. Traylon Smith clearly running back 1. TJ Hammond's filled in pretty nice too today. 6 carries, 52 yards. He had a 21-yard run. Him and Traylon both had a 21-yard run from the line of scrimmage, which was the longest run from line of scrimmage for the Razorbacks. No touchdowns for him. Traylon, though, 3 touchdowns, man. Holy cow. How about that Jack Lindsey fake punt? That was great. That's the brightest spot you've had on special teams all year. Yeah. Second half, clearly just no real adjustments made. Offense kind of struggled to get back into rhythm. They go 3 and out. The very thing I said that you could not afford to have happen happened. They went 3 and out. Mizzou had some things happen. You lose Morgan, and then that was the ball game. Like, I felt like at that moment, as soon as Morgan got hurt, I texted another friend of mine. I said that might be ball game. I don't want to curse or jinx the Razorbacks here, but that might be ball game. They don't have anyone that I feel super comfortable behind him, and that the rest is history. I mean, Mizzou went on. Drinkowitz, who's had a pretty vanilla offense all year. I mean, you're talking about an offense that scored. I mean, they averaged less than 24 points a game throughout most of the year. I think now they're up to about 30 points a game coming into this game, and then they hang 50. It's real easy to blame Odom. I understand the frustration. Arkansas's defense, I said this on the podcast, they've been exposed. I don't know that they keep Bama under 55, 60 points. Arkansas's defense is terrible. They are exactly who we thought they were coming into the year. They are exactly who we thought they were. Defense is not good. They were able to cover it up, right? Odom, he called a hell of a game against, I would even argue, Auburn in the second half against Auburn. Obviously, all the wins, I think, it's easy to say that, but he called great games. He had guys in position. But really, since the Tennessee game, something happened with this defense. Even with Catalon, Morgan, Bumper Pool healthy, there was still something happening with the secondary, and I kind of started to notice it. Ole Miss, who's we know how good they are passing. Matt Corral, who's going to come back next year, who announced he's going to be back. They handled some pretty capable quarterbacks this year. I mean, overall, I think Odom far surpassed any expectations that I had for this defense. It's a talent and a lack of depth issue that I blame in this game. They don't have it. They don't have the talent, guys. They don't. Linebacker, I think you got to credit Rhodes. Coach Rhodes at the linebacker coach has got those guys ready. Morgan and Poole are such good open field tacklers. Sneaky fast, take the right angles, can clog gaps, and that's why they're able to get all these, rack up their stat sheet. Curious to see where that ends up too when we finally get the defensive numbers. Catalon has been phenomenal, but Mo Brown, by the way, also played a really good game. But you've got other areas on the field. There's 0. This team does not get sacks. I think they did end up with at least a sack in this game, and they were getting into the backfield in the first quarter, and then it changed. Something changed. Mizzou just kind of, I don't know, they started running the ball a little bit more, and they figured out, okay, we'll set the momentum at the line of scrimmage and just completely dominate Arkansas. And that's exactly what they did. And they just killed Arkansas up front. That's a huge problem, and it's a talent issue. It's a defensive line. They have depth. They're 3 deep at every position. And, outside of Jonathan Marshall, though, just severely either average or not really SEC starting quality. That's a problem. Fouché, I think today was probably his best game. I really kind of think Fouché's regressed. He had a pretty good game today. He wasn't terrible. That flag on him, I mean, I agree with you guys. That was it was just ludicrous. But no, you lose this game. Special teams, defense, the offense for the most part was phenomenal. Again, KJ stepped into a really big role. I mean, he had to fill some big shoes. You're talking about Felipe Franks, who every week is making some sort of Pro Football Focus shortlist for the quarterbacks, for outstanding quarterback play. That's the shoes KJ Jefferson was not expecting to fill waking up today and getting on the bus ride up to Mizzou. Up to meth land. I'm sorry. Up to into Mizzou territory. He wasn't expecting it. Big shoes to fill, and he filled them. He did great. I'm not gonna. Some underthrows, some overthrows. Like I said, he's not gonna be perfect. It's so strange to me how quickly people pick apart a quarterback based on a couple of bad throws. Let's look at the other throws that he made. That Mike Woods play. What was that? Was that a wheel route? I don't know where Woods came out of. No, he was lined up like in the slot, and I think it was like a crossing route. Beautiful play, beautiful ball, great recognition by KJ to see that, and for Woods to be alert enough to turn around and make the grab. That was great. Treylon Burks, what a game by Treylon, career high. They need to get the ball in the hands of KJ, in Treylon Burks' hands, and they did exactly that. It kept them in this game. Treylon Smith kept them in this game. The offense, KJ. Like they weren't really doing anything wrong. How about Kern with another touchdown this year? He's been the tight end to really step up when the others haven't. Hudson Henry and the other guys. But yeah, line of scrimmage play on the offensive side of the ball was really good. KJ had time in the pocket. Only maybe I can count on one hand really where I thought the pocket truly collapsed and KJ was forced to kind of roll out and do stuff. So they didn't take a step back with Felipe Franks not being out there. Defense, this is who they are. This is who they are. I do think they make a bowl game. Don't ask me what bowl. I have no idea. I'll be excited. I don't care if it's the Dollar General Bowl, right? I don't care if it's the Cooper Tire Bowl. Cooper Tires. Are those still manufactured in Arkansas? Or did they shut down shop? You guys ever bought Cooper Tires? Those used to be made in Arkansas. I don't care what bowl game it is. Just make one. I hope they get one. They're not beating Bama. I'm sorry. I'm not picking them. You guys should know that. Hudson Clark was a liability. He's been one every week. He'll have good moments. He had a pick. What was it, the third quarter? And they had 2 opportunities to pick off that quarterback. By the way, that quarterback at home throws for 75% on the year. He's a wildly accurate quarterback. Not a super strong arm. He can't stretch the field. That's going to be a problem in this offense for Mizzou. He cannot stretch the field. They'll take deep shots, and I wasn't surprised to see them do that. Well, they have like 2 or 3 deep balls, but they don't have a deep ball game. They have a let's just get our guys out in open space game. Let's run. We'll screen you. We'll do delay and counter gives to our running back out of the backfield. That's what this offense is. They really were beating Arkansas in the same 3 plays. And that again is a testament to how bad Arkansas is on defense. I don't know that they answer any severe issues with recruiting this year. I think it's just going to be in the developmental part of the game, right, during the offseason. I don't know that you see anybody on defense that they have coming in and say, oh, yeah, they're going to fill a gap with that guy. I don't think so. It's going to be, unless you go out and you find room for a JUCO 5-star All-American defensive tackle or something. They're going to have to develop these guys in the offseason. Look, there is promise there. You still got Matiel Soli, who I think, if he could stay healthy and actually, when we get through COVID, when we get through all this stuff, you got Miller, who in one game, by the way, had 7 tackles. I want to say he had a tackle for loss in one game. Against LSU, actually played a pretty good game. Nobody talked about it. Maybe it was 6 tackles, but regardless, stepped up big time. You got some younger guys who have had some, from what I understand, we already know they couldn't play the LSU game. They've been dealing with COVID. That's going to hurt the developmental process of the game. That's why a lot of people wanted to push this year back. And I get that argument. I'm so happy they played football this year, but I understand the argument of pushing things back. This hurt the development of some of these players. Sam Pittman talked about it with Turner, wide receiver, freshman, 4-star, has not been able. I mean, he's been hit multiple times with the old koof, and the same thing with Johnson, this third string back. Did he hit the field today, by the way? Did anybody? I don't know if I saw him. Was he on the stat sheet? I don't think he even got a snap, did he? No, he did not. No, he didn't have a run. I don't think he even saw the field. But the fixes are going to come in the developmental side of things during the offseason. Again, I don't think you have an answer in this class. Maybe there's some kids that were redshirted a year ago, and we'll know more about them after spring and going into summer camp and going into fall camp. But I'm pretty disappointed in the defense. And again, since really Tennessee, just something has changed in this defense. I think a lot of it is more film on Odom. He's been forced to. He called way more zone. Against Mississippi State and Ole Miss, he called like 90% zone coverage. He's trying to disguise his coverage as best he can. He knows he has to flip to man. People will get mad all the time. Why are we playing man? You have to find ways to disguise your coverage. Nobody plays 100% zone. Nobody plays 100% man. Everybody switches their defense up, unless you're just insanely good and you have talent and speed to play man defense every down. Arkansas does not. That's the other area they're going to have to get better, and that's that number 2 corner spot. They're going to have to get Jonathan Marshall back. They're going to have to get Mo Brown back. Mo Brown played great today. Both of his pass breakups were just beautiful. No hands, forced a deflection with his non-dominant hand, with that left hand without making contact with his right. That's hard to do. That's next-level coverage. He did that twice. They're going to have to get him back. Nobody's perfect. You're going to have a game where someone gives up some yardage. Clark, he's not a 4.4 kid. You're talking about someone who's 6'2 and a half. What is he, about $180? Probably runs like a 4.69. He's not fast. He's going to get exposed in man coverage. He's going to get burned. He loses his footing on hitch routes. I've seen him. It's like hitch routes are like his kryptonite. Or just go routes. He just doesn't have the speed. I noticed, too, it was in the third quarter on that drag route. There was a drag route, and drag routes basically, it's just like typically your slot receiver kind of just does a slight curl inside about 5 yards. It's a drag route. Anybody who's played Madden or NCAA football knows what I'm talking about. It's like a soft L, and you just kind of drag it along. That play should not go for more than 2 or 3 yards. They got like 15 yards out of it. And it just goes to show you the defense just is not where it was at. Guys were not flying to the ball like they were in the first 4 games. They're not flying to the ball. They're not attacking the line of scrimmage. They're not plugging gaps. Jonathan Marshall got double-teamed and just got manhandled certain times during the year. And you can see this game, there's just no push, man. There's no push outside unless it's Jonathan Marshall getting pushed inside. I don't know if it's a weight room thing. I think it's a combination of weight room and talent, if I'm being honest. Mizzou should never beat Arkansas in football every stinking year. That's not on Sam Pittman. No, it is not on Sam Pittman. The worst defensive performance in a quarter I've ever seen. That second half was – the whole game was not – there's just not very good defense. We played our ass off as best we can. That's O-U-R, not A-R-E. Leslie. I'm going to be a grammar Nazi just because, they played to the final minutes. They did, and I think the offense never gave up. I don't know that I can say the same about the defense. It looked like they let go of the rope. I mean, they scored. They had their quickest drive. It was a touchdown in just 2 plays in the third quarter. That's unexcusable, and it was like nobody was there, and it goes back to It's not. I don't think that's on Odom. I think that's just again on lack of talent, lack of depth. Defense was depleted. Is it too early to say fire Odom? Yes, it is entirely too early to say something like that. Defense is F. Offense is A-. Special teams needs the special. Oh no, you didn't, crazy hog. Yeah, and Leslie, I agree. I agree with you 110%, Leslie. They were depleted, and it goes back to depth. It just goes back to depth. We missed Morgan. They did miss Morgan. Literally, that one time we had to stop them, we looked absolutely horrible. No heart on the last defensive drive. I kind of felt like the second half, it looked like they let go of the rope after Morgan was off the field. And that speaks volumes to the kind of player he is, how important he is. I wish Jerry Jacobs had never left. Yeah, Jerry Jacobs. Now, look, he ended up getting beat out. So, I don't know. A.J. Reed's missed extra points was the difference in this game. Fire the special teams coach. Gerard Collins. Did y'all see the Angie lady post Arkansas wins on the Facebook page after 2-point conversion in Fansville? She would be on trial. I didn't see that. Angie, I didn't see that. Yeah, it's too early to say fire Odom. I just don't put. It's hard to put that on a year one coach, but they have regressed, even when they've had all bodies healthy. At times this year, they've regressed. Again, you're talking about Mizzou, a team that does not score 50 points. They don't rack up the kind of yards they racked up on offense. While Roundtree is a good back, go look at his yards per carry before this game. He's like a 4.2, 4.4 yards per carry back. That guy averaged. What did he end up with? 7-point-something yards a carry. They've just, I don't know. And the other most frustrating thing about all this is you had a bye week or an extra week to prepare for this. Offense clearly took advantage. Defense, I don't know. What a beat, Ty. Heck of a game. Mizzou played a good game. Credit where credit is due. Credit is due is 110% right. Their offense is just clicking. Let's go over the numbers really quick for Mizzou. Connor Bazelak, 32 of 49, 380 yards. He averaged almost 8 yards per completion. Guys, he's a freshman, by the way. Roundtree ran the ball for 7 yards a carry, 27 carries for 185 yards, 3 touchdowns. They had 5 rushing touchdowns in this one. Arkansas didn't give up a single pass touchdown, but it was because the run game was so efficient. Why would you need to worry about running it anywhere near the red zone of Arkansas? But both Roundtree and Beatty Beatty had 6 carries, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns to Roundtree's 185 with 3 touchdowns. Chisholm came through big for them. He had 6 catches, 113 yards. Treylon Burks, everybody. Oh, my gosh. This is the good news. And I know I used the light at the end of the tunnel analogy a lot under Chad Morris, and I said that light was recruiting. It is. It is. KJ Jefferson was his guy. Treylon transferred here when Chad was the guy. By the way, Knox caught a ball. Did you guys see that? Burks, Woods, those are his guys. Terrible coach. The guy brought in the light at the end of the tunnel, and these guys are coming back. I don't feel as concerned about the quarterback because, going into next year, Mizzou's a salty defense. This is a defense that gives up like 350 a game. Arkansas walked out there. They don't give up 274 a game through the air. It's around, I think it's like 250. But all things considered, right? I know Rakeem Boyd wasn't a factor, but most of the year. But you didn't have Rakeem Boyd, who was a captain, not in this game, right? Knox has not been a factor. No Devion Warren, who was really coming on. You really had, coming into this game, you felt good about the running back, about Treylon, and you felt good about Burks. That's really it, right? Hudson Henry's not come along like we thought. Some of these other younger receivers, Shamar Nash opts out, right? Turner's been struggling with COVID. Don't really have much to lean on outside of those names I just mentioned. And KJ steps up into a huge role and takes the game over for a little bit. Did not cost them. Didn't turn the ball over. He threw a couple, 2-3 bad balls on 33 attempts. The futures, if they could play that well on the road against Mizzou, salty defense. If he and you got to remember, we still got this Bama game. I still don't know what's going on. I have no idea if Franks is going to play that game or not. I still don't know what happened with him. It's not COVID because he was still on sidelines. He traveled with the team. He was dressed out. Hell, he was warming up with the team. I don't know what the hell happened with him. But you might get another opportunity to see KJ against Bama. And it's going to be understandable if that's the case and he's not near as productive and turns the ball over. It's Bama. It's understandable. But I still feel good based on what we saw today. I feel better, I should say. I feel better about the future of the position based on what I saw today. It shows that he has that potential and that he's capable of doing what he did today. Now, it also helped. Run game bailed him out. They had a penalty early on that bailed out one of their drives. That helped. His run, by the way, 240 pounds. That guy runs. I swear it looks like he runs like a 4.4, 4.5. I know he doesn't. He's probably like in the 4.6 range, which is still booking for a quarterback. But he's got that game speed too, man. I don't know if you guys saw that run earlier in the second quarter. And he's looking, and then he just takes off downfield, and then he kind of kicks it into another gear, into another speed. I feel better. I'm not saying KJ is going to be an All-American. I'm not saying he's even going to be an All-Conference guy. I feel better about the position based on what I saw today, just on potential, just based on what he accomplished. Impressed. I am. Special teams, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know that that fake punt or fake field goal was great. Okay, congratulations. You had one great play all damn year. That's their only fake field goal too, by the way. I wish there's other moments this year. I kind of wish they would have done something like that before. If they're gonna get those kind of results. I mean, Lindsey ran for 20 yards, but I don't know what the answer is on special teams. Hopefully they get more bodies. Fountain, I don't know. I do not. It's almost as if they never hired a special teams coach. But then you think about it, they're paying this guy almost $500,000 a year. From what I understand, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Wiki's wrong on that, but I think they're paying him $4.5 or $450 a year, and I don't know what for, because this year it's like every game it was just expected. You're going to have a special teams blunder. You're either going to have flags or you're going to miss extra points. Punt gets blocked. Something, kick the ball out of bounds. Not getting on field, on fourth down. The fourth down penalties this year, they've had at least 2 or 3. No, it's been 3. Every game, we look back. Every single game, we look back and say, special teams, every single game. I don't know why you're paying anybody $450,000 a year based on the results that we've had from special teams this year. I will say they did get better in certain areas. Punt coverage was far better. They got better on punt coverage. Kick coverage overall was better. They did see signs of improvement, but they still there's too many costly mistakes this year. Too many. Every damn game we're looking back. Knox be blocking his ass off though. Knox was blocking. Knox was open on a couple of plays, but KJ was kind of hurried. Knox actually got a catch. Was nice to see. It was nice. I agree. I know he has the stuff. I just wish he would step up. Knox has got to have. It's not unheard of, especially in the NFL, when a rookie comes out and, oh my God, look how great he was as a rookie. And then his sophomore year is just terrible. That's pretty common. It happens in college too. Maybe that's the case. His potential is really high. And they're going to get more and more competition. You got Katron Jackson coming in, Shamar Nash, another bigger 6'2", 6'2.5" receiver who opted out for the year, who was redshirted a year ago and then opted out for this year. He'll be back as technically a freshman. You're bringing back some talent. Burks, I don't know, Devion Warren, if he'll be close to what he was before the injury, but you will have Devion Warren, I think, back. If he chooses to come back, he's a senior, if I remember right. Is Devion Warren a senior? He's a senior. Or am I crazy? He has the option to come back, and I don't know why he wouldn't. I mean, he's not an NFL guy, but he has great speed. He's a pretty solid kick returner. I hope that he does come back. But there's going to be some depth. You've got crazy good depth. That's another, again, when you talk about that light at the end of the tunnel, you've got crazy good depth thanks to Coach Stepp. By the way, Stepp was who's higher, Chad Morris. It's like Chad could do some things really good outside of what's happening on the field. On the field and in the locker room, he is a disaster. Both teams got to win for it to be a rivalry. They're dominating us. It's not a rivalry. I don't think that it is. You won't convince me. Today was not enough to convince me. I mean, they've got to grow organically. I think if this game were meaningful, and it just wasn't. I had someone trying to convince me, whoever wins this gets Coach of the Year. Okay, cool. I don't know how that adds to this being a rivalry. Like, I don't think fans or even Sam Pittman's going to be pissed off that Drinkowitz gets Coach of the Year. And even if does he get Coach of the Year? I mean, that's a debate. I don't know that you get it over what's going on at Bama. If we go bowling, hope we bring SEC officials, so maybe we'll have the advantage. But how much of an advantage is it when they're calling it against the SEC school like they do Arkansas? I got to say, though, that targeting call on the Mizzou linebacker was not targeting. I don't think that was targeting. I think it was the wrong call. They got a little bit of the same, they got they know how it feels to have a player, out. LSU is our rivalry. I don't even think it is to Arkansas fans, sure. I don't think it is much of a rivalry game. It's definitely not to LSU fans. With Rakeem opting out and Felipe Franks apparently opting out but staying with the team, I guess that's what happened. I have no idea. I think our team is becoming demoralized. It's hard for them to see anything left to play for. I don't know if that's the case because they still played today on offense. They looked really good on offense. Defensively, I think Morgan being out was a factor because after he was out, they had no chance against the run. But it did feel like, I would say today, maybe the first time, the defense was completely, it looked like they completely let go of the rope. So I get that argument. Franks opted out. I don't think he did officially. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. We'll see what he does with the Bama game if he plays. He dressed out. He traveled. That doesn't lead me to believe that he opted out. They got Catalan. They sure did. They got Catalan. A&M is more of a rivalry. I agree, Alex, 110%. A&M to me, I'm 30. I'll be 38. And, I can remember as a little kid not liking the other Southwest Conference schools, Texas and A&M being among them. I wasn't old enough to understand the game. That wouldn't come along until the Clint Sterner era. I heard it was his ribs. Well, the weird thing about that, and that's what I heard too, he dressed out, he traveled, he threw the ball around. Maybe he just said he didn't feel comfortable. And if you go back and look, he's throwing the ball, and at one point he puts his helmet down, and it looks like on his face he's in pain. I saw it for a brief second, so I do wonder if it was his ribs. Tuckfexus, indeed. I still hate the Longhorns. The fake injury bug was out today. Did you notice, Ty? The SEC has to address that. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what the proper thing to do here is, but that killed the Razorbacks. And not every time that it happened, but when you do that, when a defensive player – and this is the thing. How do you – and this is tough for the SEC. How do you make it so that doesn't happen on the field? And the only thing I can come up with, it's got to be treated like a more severe rule, like the helmet off the head on the field rule, right? Where if you lose your helmet, you can't play on that next down. You're off the field. I think that's still the rule. I'm pretty sure it's still the rule. I think it ought to be treated a little bit more severe in that, okay, you can't come back the rest of this series. And the thing with that is they'll find a way around it. And these bigger, these teams that have 4- and 5-star talent 2-3 spots back, that's not as big of a blow. You just have the least talented guy fake a crash or fake a falling, oh, my knee, and then you just replace him with your next best guy. But it still stops. You're still going to have to allow them to substitute, which defeats the entire purpose of high tempo. So I don't know how you stop it because you have to treat every injury as though it's real. You have to, and I understand that. I don't know how you police it. I don't know how you regulate it, but they're going to have to figure something out. And I say that player, whoever it is, sits out maybe even the rest of the quarter. I don't know. Maybe that's too harsh, but at least the rest of that drive. And then you have a scenario where, it's inside the 5 or 10. What does it really matter, right? Even Mississippi State and Auburn. I don't know what you're talking about there. Ribs are the worst injuries to play with, in my opinion. Well, all injuries. All injuries are shoulder, like what Rakeem Boyd was dealing with coming off that surgery, that's a tough one. Everyone responds. We were talking about that in Discord the other day. That's a everyone responds differently to every injury, but especially shoulder injuries. And I do think that played a role in Rakeem Boyd taking a step back this year. But ribs do hurt. I got hurt. I'm still tender. I'm still tender. It's like that right in the middle. Tender. I got hit in the ribs in high school, and it sucked, man. Charged a touchdown. Sit out 3 plays minimum for that. I say the rest of the drive, and then, or maybe that's the right call. X amount of plays. You got to sit out the next 5 plays. So even if they score, if the offense scores on the next play or whatever, you still have to sit out 2-3 more plays on their next drive when they're back out on the field. I agree. They've got to figure out how to stop that. Not to say that Arkansas hasn't done it too in the past. They have. They did it under Chad. They've probably done it a time or two this year. But it's nonsense. It's the only way defenses have figured out how to slow down these high-tempo offenses. It's to fake an injury. So let's get the likes up. Oh, how many likes are we at? Let me minimize. Oh, we're at 43. Can we get to 50? Can we get to 50 likes? I have not looked at other scores around the league. I'm gonna have to. I was so enthralled with this Mizzou game. Indiana's beating Wisconsin 7-0 at the moment. Where's our conference games here? Notre Dame is killing Syracuse. Holy cow. Well, okay, I thought that was first quarter. Third quarter, 24-7. Florida is on top of Tennessee, 10-7 at the moment. Second quarter, that's a big one. Tulsa on top of Navy, 3-0. Iowa, number 19 ranked Iowa, losing to Illinois, 14-0. Stanford on top of Washington, who's also ranked, 14-0. What was the final score of that? I don't know the score of the A&M game. Let's look. Hang on. Just be patient. That's what I get for not wearing my glasses. There it is, SEC. Okay. Florida's on top now, 10-7. A&M did find a way to win. They beat Auburn by 11. And those are the only games that have been played so far. Got basketball coming up next. So that's actually coming up right next. Fake an injury, and you sit out the drive, period. I agree, 110%. And then maybe even a couple other plays on the next drive. So I hate that. And it did affect the game, and it has affected games. It affects the momentum of the offense, and it's bullshit is what it is. So Arkansas getting ready to play some basketball. I need this. Just run these guys out of the building, please. I swear if Arkansas loses, I might lose my mind. Or if they find a way. Lipscomb, who's 1-2, 0-2 on the road this year, they're coming in. Obviously, I like Arkansas. They're favored according to the ESPN Basketball Power Index, the BPI instead of the FPI at 90%. So, all right. we're at 56 likes. Look at you guys go. Kill them. 31-20 tie. What are you talking about? What you talking about? Yo, Ty, you think we go into a bowl game? So I'll say it again. Like I said on the halftime show over on Facebook, and like I said earlier, I'd be happy to make any bowl game. I don't know. I think they will. Because 3 conference wins in a regular 12-game season, you gotta imagine you win 6 games, right? You gotta imagine that you meet that threshold if you played a full schedule. And I think they'll look at it like that. I hope. You never know. I mean, three and which will probably end up being 3-7. There's no probably about it. You're gonna lose to Bama. I'm sorry. I just don't like Arkansas at all, no matter who's at quarterback. They might surprise people. They might give them a game for a little bit, but if you get thrashed against Bama and you finish 3-7, you may not make a bowl game, and that will be a blow. But by default, there's no threshold. There's no minimum. You don't have to win 4 or 5 games to make a bowl. But then you have these other teams that are playing more games. Do they get an opportunity because of their win record? You've got to consider what's going on around the other conferences. And how sexier do they look as a game in whatever bowl game. But I think Arkansas is an SEC West opponent who's I hope whatever bowl looks at Arkansas, looks at the Auburn game, understands what happened there, understands what happened in the LSU game, understands they didn't have their star defensive player for an entire half, actually 2 of them on different halves. You didn't have Catalon, you didn't have Morgan in the second half. I hope they understand that and the reasoning behind those losses. If that is the case, Arkansas is a pretty sexy look to them. They've been a little bit of a Cinderella story this year. They've surprised people. Maybe that's enough to get them bowling. If not, I'm not going to tell you. I think it's probably a little bit of a blow to the overall excitement of what's going on at the football program and the morale on the football team. You got to imagine that's a little bit of a blow to them. But I think they go bowling. I have no idea what bowl game. Again, maybe it's the Dollar Tree Bowl or the RC Cola Bowl. I don't want to hate on one of my old favorite sodas, but the Mr. Pibb Bowl. I love Mr. Pibb. I love Pibb. It's good stuff. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Who's Walter? I don't know. Is he up here causing us? Is he being a troll? Scroll down here, read some more comments before we log off. Y'all are literally crying about more stuff. I guess with that last name, you're a LSU fan. Don't you have a corn dog somewhere to consume or something, Walter? Let's just. Oh, you're in timeout, Walter. Just because you're an LSU fan, because I felt like it. Let's see. Walter is a beta male. Oh, you guys. Our defense played awful. They really did. If we don't get defense fixed, we don't need a bowl. No, you absolutely need a bowl, Lance. I don't know why you would think that. You need every opportunity to get better. Win or loss, you take that opportunity. You take those extra practices. You take that extra preparation. That's one more game to get ready for the future. This year is, in my opinion, is a giant asterisk anyways. If I'm being honest, it's a giant asterisk because of COVID, because of just a lot of different reasons, but mostly because of COVID, the effects that it's had on college football and Arkansas. Also, under that college football umbrella, you absolutely want to play that extra game. Absolutely. I want to see us shit on Lipscomb. KJ did amazing, though. KJ, and I said it before, for those of you who came in late, KJ was fantastic. He really was. So freaking proud of KJ. Same here. Gavin Pratt, I want to see – oh, I already read that. I want to see a shit. Yeah, I hope they run them out of the building. I need it. Inject it into my veins. Proud of the Razorbacks this year. Still got a game left. We'll see, assuming that Bama game happens. Do you think we have a quarterback controversy? It just depends on what happens with Bama, because you know how this goes. If KJ goes out, plays terrible against Bama, fans are going to be upset, and then I don't know how the coaching, I don't know how the staff reacts to that. It just depends on what happens with Bama, but right now I would say no. If Felipe Franks is back for Bama, KJ is easily quarterback number 2, and he's right now the next guy up. I mean, he's earned it. I mean, someone tell me otherwise. I know we had a bunch of Hornsby fans in chat, and that's fine. I'm a whoever the hell can win games fan. I'm a whoever doesn't turn the ball over 3 or 4 times a game fan. I'm the get the offense going fan. But we had a lot of people that had given up on KJ, and I told you guys before you shouldn't do that. You gotta be patient with these kids, and KJ proved why you need to be patient. Hell, Brandon Allen proved why you need to be patient. So, all right, I'm out. I will see you guys probably on Monday. No, hold up. We don't have a game. When's the next game? I don't know when I'll be live. Just click the notification bell. Please like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the links. If you want to be a part of the Patreon group, by the way, shout out to the Patreon peeps in chat. Tyler Edmonson, Danyel Hadley, who I don't know if is in here, Anthony White, Timothy Whiseant, George Rector, Robert Brooks, Sean Norris, Jordan Webb, Randall Hunt, Kelly Marie, Alex Strecker. Some of you probably aren't Patreon supporters anymore, but that's okay. I'm going to read your name anyways because I love you. William Watkins, John Hawes Jr., John Goodman, Brett Connor, Mathew Hestand, Doug Stubbs. Doug's probably in chat. What's up, Doug? Jenna Mayes, Thomas Nunley. Thank you guys so much for being supporters. I do appreciate each and every one of you. If you don't want to become a member of the Patreon support group or the support group, we need one. We need a support group as Hog fans. If you don't want to become members of the Patreon, a PTN Patreon page, then there's also a PayPal link if you want to throw in a dime in the old tip jar there. I appreciate you guys. I will probably see you maybe next week. I don't know. Like I said, click the notification bell for the next live show or next video. Woo pig, I'll see you guys around. I'm going to smoke a cigar and drink my sorrows away. Not really. I'm actually in a better mood now. I think because we had this session together. I'm feeling okay. I feel good about the future. Whoop.